Hey guys, and welcome to episode 4 of the Scammer Files. This is my series where I document some of the most notorious lures to take place in RuneScape history, explain how they were done and how much profit was made. So luring is against the rules. I believe it's actually a bannable offence now, and in this series I'm only going to be showing patch lures which can no longer be done. So this would start off like most lures. The lurer would have to find a rich person who's going to be the victim of this lure, and someone with, say, a party hat or some other sign of wealth. The lurer would then trade them and show them a large amount of cash, usually 500 mil plus, and ask them if they wanted it or that they were doing a giveaway. And as ridiculous as this sounds already, it worked. To first of all build their trust, the lurer would tell the person to bank all of their items and follow them just west of the Grand Exchange for the money or the giveaway, and they would proceed up the hill to the giant brass key hut. On the way, another person in on the lure would appear, the convincer, and they would run up and pretend to just ruin the lure. The convincer would add the victim and actually warn them it was a scam, and they would continue to explain how they can make serious money from actually anti-scamming the lurer. So at this point the victim is led to believe he is in control of this lure, and his greed and need to anti-scam will essentially come back to bite him, and the convincer would explain to the victim how the scam was for them to give them an inventory of junk, including a key, and how the lurer would tell them to drop their item inside of the hut, such as their party hat, and then they tell you to come out and sell everything back, including the key for, say, 500 mil, so that they could lock you out. So most victims are likely to be a little bit wary of this, so they'd first of all do a demo run of the lure, and the lurer's job would be to make it very obvious that they were locking the victim out and giving them a key and some junk, including some teleport scrolls. And the junk was there to blend in with the teleport scrolls, and the victim would be more comfortable trading them. So the lurer would buy back the key in the demo for a small amount such as 10k, and the victim would be locked out. And while this was happening, the convincer would be PMing the victim all the way through the demo, explaining how the anti-lure would work. So after the demo run, the victim would be led to the bank, and the lurer would say he'll pay 500 mil instead of just the 10k if he used his party hat. So the convincer would warn the victim to drop their item just outside of the hut instead of inside, so that when they sold back the key and the junk for 500 mil, they wouldn't be locked out. They would just pick it up right under them. What the victim didn't know is that when they dropped the item outside and traded all of the items back, there would actually be some teleport scrolls in that mix of junk, and when the player was trading back the items, the lurer would actually decline the trade at the right point, and this would close the trade screen so that when the person clicks on the scroll, it wouldn't add it into the trade screen as it was closed, it would just teleport them and activate that teleport scroll. The party hat or whatever the item was would just be left there on the floor while the victim is teleported to another location. It was very rare for anybody to make it back in under a minute for their item, as the victim would usually rarely be prepared. Profits were most likely split 50-50 between the lure and the convincer. And that's pretty much how the key lure works, guys. I usually always get flack from lures for not crediting the right people, so I do apologise if I don't credit the right people. I usually just go on the information that people send me for these lures. So in this case I believe it's NGL, Next Gen Lures, who actually invented this key lure, and around 100 bill profit was made from Redneck Lures featuring Exile Lures. And lastly, thanks to Papiz0 and the Luffy585 for the clips and information. I'll put their channels in the description and on screen. If you guys missed the previous episode, it was RuneScape's epic glitches showing the gravestone duplication bug that allowed you to actually duplicate items at Virago, so click on screen to go watch that, and I'll see you guys next time. Have a great weekend. Peace.